Ladies and you, the Lamar High School Marching Band. Tonight, the band will be performing third and fourth movements of their 2019 production, The Box. Featured performers.
Hello, Viking fans, and welcome to this broadcast of Lamar Vikings varsity football. I'm Bill Frawley. I'll be doing the play-by-play tonight. Along with me here in a little bit will be Joe Toronto. We're going to welcome him back to the broadcast booth for the first time this season. He's caught in a little bit of traffic coming over from downtown, announcing here for the stadium crowd. 8 or 108. A mild front has been approaching the area, stalling out just shy of Arlington at some point. It may come all the way through. Temperatures could drop a little bit more. There is a fair wind coming out of the south-southeast. May or may not have any effect on the game, especially as the evening progresses. The Vikings bring a record of 3-1 into tonight's game, having defeated Byron Nelson out of Trophy Club, not the golfer, Garland, Naaman Forest, and Richland to sweep through non-district play. However, last week the Vikings opened district play over at UTA's Maverick Stadium against their crosstown rivals, the Martin Warriors. Came up very short on the scoreboard, 39-8. Now, it's been 2 years since the Vikings have lost 2 games in a row, so let's hope that doesn't happen tonight. It's homecoming, and the visiting team is the Fort Worth Trimble Tech Bulldogs. They bring a 2-2 record into tonight's game. They opened district play last week, suffering a 70-0 thrashing from the Arlington Colts. This is only the SIS, but there's not a lot of stats available for any of the Metroplex teams so far this season. And so we do what we can. We find out some things about certain games. But I'll tell you who we can be looking for tonight from the Bulldogs. Number 14, Ibanez is the signal caller. And then at least 2 of their 4 games, I got stats, and he's completed about 40% of his passes. Favorite targets are number 44, and so they will possibly spread it out and rotate some receivers in and out, tight ends and wide receivers. Now on the ground, number 3, Keyshawn Thompson, and again the quarterback Ibanez, are the leading rushers from what we can tell. Both of them at least 100 yards so far this season in 2 of the games. Now defensively, number 32, Kevin Ramirez, has had at least a couple of sacks this season, while number 20, Jaden Cook, and number 50, Prince Mendez, are among the leading tacklers. Now, Cook is listed on the roster at 6 feet even and 180 pounds, while Mendez is listed at 5'8" and a stout 210 pounds, so he's going to be a tough guy to game. In fact, looking at the roster, number 79, Keyshawn Jacobs, is listed at 6 feet 2 inches. Weighs in at 305 pounds. Number 73, Jose Coronado, 5'11", 300 pounds. And number 72, Terrell Armstrong, tall Lamar offense.
Band member of the week.
Speaking of Lamar and offense and things, up until last week against Martin, they seemed to be on an upward move in all aspects of the game. But last week there were drop passes, missed tackles, and some inopportune penalties. One of the most frustrating penalties came during a great catch by Cameron Weil, but there was an ineligible receiver downfield, which negated that gain. A couple of plays later, the drive stalled, and Lamar had to punt. The next play was a 70-yard touchdown run by the Martin quarterback, and from there, the momentum really began to sway toward the Warriors. And much later in the game, Jack Dawson completed a pass to Cam Brady inside the Martin 10-yard line, which provided a lot of excitement, and it looked like some momentum. However, there was an illegal formation penalty, and that brought that one back. That drive also ended in a punt, and then some of the bright spots continued, though, to be the running of Caleb Phillips and Anthony Williams, and both of those guys continuing to push through the line of scrimmage, find holes and creases, and drive for every extra yard they can get. So I'm sure we're going to see quite a bit of running from them at times during the game tonight. Like I mentioned, court and the homecoming court, Queen and King announced during that time. We're about 16 minutes from kickoff, so we'll keep going with some of our pregame here, and then we may tune into the or open things that were really helpful on defense. Harold West had multiple tackles throughout the game. He was all over the place. Joey Hartley again. He's a madman out there. Earlier this week on the weekly coaches show that we do, and you can find that on Lamar. Excitement that surrounds homecoming and the environment, the fact that a lot of players will come back from wherever they happen to be in college, or even some of them after college. They come back and see the school, see the players, see the coaches, and that provides a lot of excitement and some extra energy on the field, and some of them may be here at the game tonight. So welcome to anyone who happens to be here, and of course welcome to anyone listening in doing homecoming virtually, if you will. You know, on special teams, and hey, I want to say welcome to Joe Toronto. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Bill. How are you?
Doing all right. How was traffic between Dallas and here?
Man, traffic was fantastic. It was just as usual. It was backed up all the way.
That's all right then. Well, glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
And so it's sorry you've had to miss a couple of games this season.
Absolutely, I know.
But,
it's been tough.
Yeah, it has. We've both had some really crazy travel schedules, and don't envy you on the Friday nights you're having to come back from Houston or Longview or wherever it's been.
Exactly, that's where I've been. I've been all over the state of Texas.
Glad you're here on homecoming. So not a homecoming for you. You're not a Lamar grad, right?
No, but I aspire to be someday.
Really? So what was the name of the high school in Connecticut you did graduate from?
I went to a school called Norwich Free Academy.
So now, Free Academy, is this a penitentiary type facility, or is this
No, and you know, free would seem to imply that it was cost free, but that meant free thinking.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, free thinking back in the 40s. No, wait, was it the 60s, 70s?
It was the 70s.
Okay,
so,
sorry about that.
I'm old. I look old, but I'm not that old.
So free thinking in the 70s, that was really forward for then, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I get all the great thoughts that I'm going to be coming up with all throughout the evening.
Tonight, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I've just been going through some of the general stats I found for a couple of games worth. You and I were talking on the phone.
Oh, you found some general stats.
Yeah, 2 games worth for Trimble Tech. And I've listed out the quarterback is Ivanez. We'll look for him, and then a couple of the receivers that have caught at least a few passes each. That'd be Trajan Morgan and Keon Ivory, and then Dane Inocencio. So some fun names to pronounce as well.
Exactly. Well, I'd like to thank all the people at the newspapers, because they seem to, I know newspapers are having a really difficult time these days, and they seem to have cut everybody, and certainly the people that are covering high school football appear to be non-existent, because they don't have any stats whatsoever in the high school.
Yeah, as we look to our right, to the press booth, actually to the room next to us, not near as crowded as it has been in the past. So, anyway, I was just getting to the point of talking about some of the bright spots of the Vikings game, even though they got the far short end of the stick last week against the Martin Warriors. And I was about to mention special teams, and I've talked about this each game this season. Blake Ford, the sophomore kicker, he's phenomenal. That guy is very, very consistent on extra points and field goals, and what he really excels at as well is on kickoffs. Whatever Coach DeLay asks him to do, and Joe, you've seen a lot of football, you kind of watching, it's interesting, especially at the high school level, where they'll aim that kickoff to a certain part of the field, pooch kick it, squib kick it, but this sophomore Blake Ford, he can kick it out of the end zone with no wind behind him.
Well, that's certainly a weapon, because you can tell that a lot of times the special teams are not exactly perfect at the high school level, and if you can get somebody that can eliminate the return, then that is definitely a weapon for the Vikings.
Definitely so, and that is how they benefit from that, because they can, if you're playing. Well, in fact, I don't think Martin had any big returns last week because, again, positionally kicking the ball and that type of thing, and it's happened in some other games. And that's a kid that he'll be on the Saturday afternoon fields in college in a few years. I'm very confident. And fortunately for Lamar, the colleges can't come recruit, pull him out of high school like the pros can pull people out of college. So,
ladies and gentlemen, please rise as the Lamar Band plays the Lamar
we are going to turn down our mics, turn up the ambient, and you can hear Lamar play the school song, and we'll be right back.
As we wait for the teams to return to the field, a couple of announcements. First of all, if you're interested in some history, a video documentary was...
So there was the school alma mater by the Lamar Viking Band, and getting closer to kickoff. The school board is showing about 9 minutes to go before kickoff. Might be just a few minutes after that. Things are a little bit different here on homecoming night. I want to give a shout out to County Judge Brian Cox. I don't know if he's tuned in yet. I'll say hello again just in case not, but Brian Cox, good friend of mine that I've gotten to know through some work stuff out in beautiful Stanton, Texas in Martin County. So, Brian, if you are listening yet, welcome. Glad you're there. And as the billboard says, when you enter Stanton on Interstate 20, home of 3,000 friendly folks and a few old soreheads. And I truly believe Judge Cox is one of the friendly folks, but I'll let anyone else that meets him decide that for themselves. Big football fan Brian is. Every time I get out to West Texas, he and I talk about high school football and the different teams that he and I both follow, of course, the Lamar Vikings and such. Well, the big Viking tunnel, inflatable tunnel, is up now, and the players are lining up behind it. They've had their kind of celebration chain or whatever with the people lining the path into the stadium from the Multipurpose Athletic Center, the MAC, over on the other part of the campus.
Spirit sales booth has new Spirit items.
I want to mention some of the people that really support our booster club. Of course, Dickey's Barbecue, with locations here in Arlington, Texas, and it's our Arlington locations that provide a lot of support. On Thursday nights at the sub-varsity games, they provide sandwiches and sometimes some hot links at a very discounted cost, and the booster club is able to sell those at a reasonable price and have some profit and proceeds going to the booster club. RJ Construction does an incredible job with re-roofing houses and other types of construction and remodeling. They are a big sponsor of Lamar Viking football. Next Court, who will put in a athletic court field from small enough for your backyard to big enough for a commercial or industrial facility. Next Court is another big sponsor for Lamar Viking football, and we're proud to have them. And then, of course, North Arlington Chick-fil-A does so much for the community in general. They also do so much for Lamar Viking football. Big clouds building up just to the east of the stadium over the central part of, or north central part of Arlington. Hopefully everything stays dry here, partly because I left my dogs out in the backyard tonight, and I guess they'll go in the doghouse if it's going to rain, but I'd prefer them not to be soaking wet when I get home just a few minutes from here. Also, we just don't, it's not as much fun for the players and the fans if it rains. What's that?
Who let the dogs out?
I let the dogs out, yeah, woof. Now we're about ready for the coin toss, and the captains for the Vikings tonight Jack Dawson, Colt Fuller,
Line judge Mike Acker, side judge Kyle Yates,
along with Taj Lagrone
back judge
and Tristan
Mike
Crowder out there for the
Have
Vikings.
a good game. Thank you.
Then the captains for the Trimble Tech Bulldogs. Looks like I got a number 78, Aldo Pinales. 79, Keyshawn Jacobs. He's one of those big guys I mentioned before. Number 52, Isaiah Nava. And then number 13, Kamar Watson. So they're out there for the coin toss. And the secret is they've already done this, Joe. And this is a mock coin toss. And I've talked about that with Coach DeLay before. So that's not a huge secret. Now, we don't know who won the coin toss yet. But we're about to find out.
The suspense is really killing me, Bill.
Well, I'm on the edge of my seat. And you know what they say about Lamar Viking football? We'll sell you the whole seat, but you're only going to use the edge. Because it's so exciting here. They're still
There's
talking.
quite a crowd building up on the Trimble Tech side of the field.
Yep, there's
I can count 3 or 4 people.
We got a pretty decent group over here on the Lamar
Yeah, Lamar
stands.
looks pretty good, but Trimble Tech is lacking at this point.
Well, for a little while we thought we were lacking the football team, but we saw them show up a little while ago. We were glad to see that because usually we see them out on the field quite a bit before the game starts. This is the longest pregame coin toss discussion I think I've ever seen in my life. Now here they go.
Here are the results of the coin toss.
Lamar has won the toss. They're deferring their choice to the second half. I think I know what that choice will be. The Trimble Tech Bulldogs will receive the kickoff and defend the north end zone, so they're moving left to right if you're imagining a football field on your electronic device. So there we go. We're just a few minutes away from the actual kickoff. The captains are going to go circle back around. Joe, one of the things we've been doing a little bit here, some of our pregame, is kind of a Where Are They Now segment. And this week I was going to talk about one of our Lamar alum, Chris Owens, who's the starting center at the University of Alabama for the Crimson Tide. Now, he's a redshirt junior, but he's been starting games this season. And Chris has put on some size, put on some muscle. He's listed at 315 pounds on Alabama's roster, at least beginning of the season.
That's quite the big boy. Yeah.
Yep. So
Ladies and gentlemen, for Lamar Viking.
that's just great, though, to see some of the success that our former players have out there. And to make it to any starting position, but starting center for the Alabama Crimson Tide, that's saying something. The Vikings have come out onto the field. And the band is playing the typical music they do. Most of the guys taking a knee, moment of their own kind of silence type thing as they prepare for the game. And then the Trimble Tech Bulldogs have amassed over on their sideline, ready to get the game started as well. Now,
They
Joe,
look like they're trying to get their crowd involved in the game, and it's been really difficult over there because the 2 guys that I see on that side they may be asleep, but I'm not really sure at this point.
I did an unofficial count of 30.
so Al Qualman, one of our spotters and statisticians up here, says he's counted 30 fans over on the Trimble Tech side. Does that include the band or not? Okay. Well, we're going to turn our mics down, turn up the ambient again for the national anthem. We'll be right back.
Lamar Choir singing our national anthem. Remember those who lead us, those who protect us, and especially those who protect us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem.
welcome to Craven
And there was,
football.
I believe that's the Lamar Madrigals choir, one of the sub-choirs of the whole choir program here at Lamar, very talented group, singing our national anthem, which is tradition on homecoming nights. Now, Joe, one other where are they now person I was going to mention, Bobby Brown, who big star here and has been making it pretty much this season at Texas A&M. I've seen him play down there a couple of times this season, and he's been having some impact on different games, started some games, and subbing in and out and type thing. What I've been wanting to see is I want to see him carry the ball one time.
Well, yeah, because they've been putting him in the backfield,
yes.
And that's really kind of interesting. Obviously, he's a defensive player and a defensive line player, but they do put him in the backfield and use him as a blocker, and he's had some success. But I think that it's interesting because I think that he's actually bulked up a little more than obviously he was here at Lamar.
Yeah.
So
one of the things I saw earlier in the season, he was up at 285, which was about a 50-pound increase over when he graduated. And I'll tell you, that's mostly muscle from what I could see even through the binos. Well, Blake Ford kicks it off, and we are underway here at Cravens Field. It's going to be returned from the 4-yard line, across the 5-10 to the middle of the field. He'll be wrapped up inside the 15, and that's going to be about, let's call that an 11-yard return by number 13, Kamar Watson, one of their
Jerry Hood's
captains. Jerry Hood involved in the tackle.
And 49.
well, excellent coverage on that return.
42, LeGrone.
Yeah, everyone held
Stayed in
their
their
lane.
lane. Yeah, stayed in their lane, and made a very nice tackle and kept him inside the 15.
Exactly. So the Bulldogs come with twins left, and again, and single right. So 2 receivers to left, 1 to the right, 1 in the backfield just to the right of the quarterback. He's in the pistol. Here's the handoff to number 7. He's going to be stopped just behind the line of scrimmage, it looks like, and that's. And I don't have a number 7 on the roster here. So, and I don't know who to guess that that number might belong to.
They gave us updated rosters, and it doesn't have all of the people on it.
Oh, Keyshawn Thompson is wearing number 7 tonight. And that's who I expected it might be. So he's listed as number 3 on one roster, so we'll convert that to number 7.
He's their leading rusher, and so
Yeah.
you'd expect him to be in there as getting the ball.
That's who I was going to guess. So 1 receiver split wide to the right, twins left, twin receivers, 2 receivers to the left. Here's the snap. Fake handoff. The quarterback's going to keep it. Goes to his right. He's going to be wrapped up back around the 6 or 7 yard line. Call it the 7. So that's going to be a loss of
Jerry
yardage.
Hood really sniffed that out very early and was right on the ball carrier.
Yeah, it kind of looked like it might have been a zone read. It looked like it was really a designed fake handoff, and he was wrapped up from the get-go.
Hood had that read right from the beginning, stayed at home and played that very, very well.
So that's going to make it 3rd down and 17, and Joe, they are stacked or stuffed back at their own 7-yard line. They're probably just going to be happy if they can get some yardage and get out of the shadows of the goalpost and get a punt out of the next play. Twin receivers left, 1 to the right. Keyshawn Roberts to the right of the quarterback. Quarterback steps back. He's looking around. He's got some time, no pressure at all. And now he's getting pressured, and he'll run out of bounds at the 6-yard line for a loss of 1. That was interesting. It's almost as if they were just kind of letting him, well, take your time, and we'll just kind of guard against the pass wherever it goes.
Yeah, they were going to let everything, anything, they were going to have everything right in front of them. They were just not going to let anything get downfield, and so they kept everything right in front of him, and so he had all day to throw it, but there was going to be absolutely no chance for him to get a big gain out of that.
Yeah, it looks like, well, there's a number 9 listed as Abraham Mariscal, but I think there's some different numbers here. The punt is fielded at the 39-yard line. He's down to the 25-20, 15-10, 5. There is a flag on the play.
Bergalski on the return. Flag down on the play.
So Chandler Rogalski returned the punt deep into the territory. He started at his own 39, I believe, got to the 4-yard line.
Yeah, we'll have to wait on the flag, but that was an excellent return.
And it's back around the 40-something yard line. Now the teams are coming out where the line of scrimmage has been marked, but we have no signal from the officials yet. And it's interesting because the flag was thrown all the way across the field. Illegal substitution against the punting team.
Illegal substitution against the Bulldogs.
And that's going to be declining. The Vikings start off first and goal at the 4-yard line.
Yeah. Can't ask for anything better than that. Just punch it right in here.
Jack Dawson, the quarterback. Cade Phillips behind him. Twins left, twins right. Man in motion. That's Cameron Weil. Cameron Weil takes a handoff, and he'll go in untouched. Touchdown, Vikings.
Can't get it any easier than that.
So Cameron Weil, who we would normally expect to see catch a pass in that slot position, came in motion, took the handoff, and just did a sweep around the left side. Like you say, you can't make it much easier. So the drive chart's going to be pretty complicated on this one. I believe it's one play. It was a run, 4 yards.
There's a first down there, though.
And there's a first down, as we talked about before.
Took about 4 seconds.
And the extra point is good.
By Blake Ford.
Usual suspects.
And that's going to be Preston Gomez on the deep snap, Jack Dawson on the hold, and Blake Ford successfully putting it through the uprights.
Well, I can tell you they've made our lives easier up here in the booth with that kind of a drive.
Have we been handed, is this an updated?
It's got 5 and 7 on it.
Yeah. Now, number 5 is listed as Devin Johnson, but he's not listed as a quarterback. So maybe they've changed some numbers or maybe something else has happened, but we'll just do what we can. That's for the Bulldogs, that is. Meanwhile, the Vikings are out on the field. Blake Ford is teeing it up. Now, a couple of weeks ago when we were here, we had some wind and they were having to hold the ball on the tee, kind of Lucy and Charlie Brown style.
Deep for the Bulldogs.
So deep for the Bulldogs are going to be number 13, Kemar Watson, and number 19, Keon Ivory. Here comes Blake Ford. The ball is up. It's a relatively short kick. It's going to be fielded at the 10. He'll come straight up to the 15 on the far hash mark, wrapped up at the 20-yard line. And he's finally pulled down back behind that, but the forward progress to the 20-yard line. Now, Joe.
He kind of took that kick and just kind of stood there. He didn't really make any kind of moves at all. And he was a sitting duck for the kicking.
He almost should have done a fair catch because inside the 20-yard line you get to the 25. James Douglas, one of the key tacklers there for the Vikings.
32 is he's going back out.
Yeah, good eye. Our spotter, Al Qualman, notices number 32, Jerry Hood, limping just a little bit as he goes onto the field to play defensively for the Vikings. Twin receivers right, one to the left. One running back in the backfield. It's going to be a handoff to the right side. Number 7, he'll get up to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it.
Number 7. No gain on the
Looks
play.
like Eric Williams, I believe, number 77, in on that tackle.
Eric Williams, number 77, leading the charge.
Yeah, Keyshawn Thompson, had no real chance on that. There were no holes open by the offensive line, and he just had nowhere to go.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of how it's going to be here most of the evening. Well, they come back to the line of scrimmage, taking plenty of time between plays. Play clock down to 10 seconds. Twins left, single right, one in the backfield. Now the running back goes out to the flat to the far side. It's a pass to him. It's caught at the 15, and he'll get just shy of the line. Well, they're going to mark him right at the line of scrimmage. He was hit immediately. And that's going to be number 24, Leandre Roberts, and number 12, Sir Durham. Reminds me, it was just immediate right when he got to the line of scrimmage. So now here we are, 3rd down and 10 for the Bulldogs.
Sir Dorm's dad is Mr. Timmy Speed. 44 on the side, 19, 44, and 10.
Now we've got triple receivers to the right, one to the left. Here's the snap. Quarterback rolls this way. Looking over to the flat. It's caught by number 19 inside the 30-yard line, less than the yard to make, and he falls out of bounds.
Well, and the quarterback really didn't give the receiver any chance at all on that ball. I mean, the way that he threw that ball, the receiver was going to be able to catch it, but there was no chance for him to pick up the first down because he just had to catch it and fall right out of bounds because of the way the ball was placed.
Yeah, he didn't have a chance. He got 7 yards, but unfortunately that was 3rd and 10, so now it's 4th and 3. And we will see another punt from the Bulldogs.
from the 27-yard line.
Here's a snap, and he got under that one, and it's got some backspin on it. Now it does roll forward to the 45, and it's going to go to the 49-yard line, and it'll be down at the Bulldog 49-yard line. So the Vikings will start just inside the 50.
Well, Bill, it's better than starting at the 4 for Tech. I think.
That's true.
So
it is. So the Vikings come out now. Twin receivers to the right. Trayvon West out to the far right.
22-yard play.
Looks like Caleb Phillips. Excuse me.
First and 10 from the 49.
Yes, Caleb Phillips. That is right. It's a pass to Cam Brady at the 49. He's to the 45 to the 40.
Pass is complete to number 11.
And he'll have a first down at the 39-yard line. So exactly a 10-yard gain, it looks like. Nope, 11-yard gain. They're putting it up to the 38.
Well-designed play. There's a lot of traffic over there. Kind of almost a little pick play, and they got the ball to the receiver, and he just ran through the cap. It was very nice.
Yeah, well set up block there as well, like you mentioned. So now twin receivers to the right, one to the left. It's going to be a handoff to Anthony Williams straight up the middle, and he's going to go to the 20-10-5 touchdown. And you could have almost driven at least a small car through that hole that was blown open.
I'm a little disappointed in the Vikings because it took them 2 plays to score this time as opposed to just the one on the last drive. I mean,
yeah, and so was that a 2-play drive, correct?
It was a 2-play drive, yeah.
So here we are back for the extra point. Preston Gomez to snap, Jack Dawson to hold, Blake Ford to kick. It is up, and it is good. I was pretty sure, but I wanted to make sure until I saw the official make it. So
Lamar 14, Trimble Tech 0.
well, 49-yard drive, Joe.
Yeah.
One 11-yard pass play and one 38-yard running play straight up the middle by Anthony Williams.
Well, as we said on the first one, you can't get any easier than that. I mean, it's just making it. We've had to describe 3 plays, Bill.
Yeah.
On the offensive side.
And you got to give some credit to those linemen down there who are breaking those holes open. We try to give some love out to those guys. They don't get their names called as much, but Gavin Kelly is one of those guys.
2 run plays, 1 first down. Actually, 1 pass, 1 run. Time of possession, 1:35. Run from 38.
Now I can see, Joe, where possibly they are. The Vikings are going to try to. I don't want to say milk the clock, but stretch things out. It's already 14-0 halfway through the first quarter. This kickoff goes out of bounds. That's a rarity from Blake Ford. It goes out of bounds at the 4-yard line. So that most likely will give the Bulldogs the ball, I believe, up at the 35-yard line.
I think it's going to be really difficult to try to milk the clock when you've had the openings that they've had. I mean, I just think you're.
Yeah, and I think maybe you just have to have the play clock run down as much as you can during the plays.
30-yard line.
30-yard line.
For the Bulldogs at the 30-yard line.
So the Bulldogs will come out. First and 10 at their own 30.
Yeah, what you just got to guard against is complacency. You know, when you think, hey, we can just run all over this team, and maybe they can, but it's very easy to just kind of get into a kind of a rut when you're out there.
So now I got trips out to the left, single to the right. One in the backfield with the quarterback. Here's a snap. It's a handoff. He's going to try to go to the far side. He's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage. One of the first guys there is number 9, Javion Moore. He sniffed it out.
5 yards on the play.
Yeah, there was basically a platoon of Vikings defenders that came along and took him down.
Taj Legrone, Taj Legrone also in there.
Well behind the line of scrimmage.
So now it's going to bring up second down and 15 for the Bulldogs at their own 25-yard line. Moore and Legrone.
Tackle to Moore and Legrone. It's second
on that tackle. Now they switched it, and they've got trips out to the right, single to the left, one in the backfield with the quarterback. Running back goes in motion to the flat. He's going to catch a pass at the 25, get almost to the 30, and then he'll get stopped. Thompson will catch that pass for 4 yards, and that's going to be marked at the 30-yard line. James Douglas was there to make that stop.
At 3rd and 10.
Once again, want to say hello to Judge Brian Cox from Martin County out in Stanton. I believe you're tuned in, and thank you so much, and appreciate your friendship and working relationship I've got with you when I'm out in West Texas, and what a huge football fan you are, and it's always enjoyable to talk football with you when I'm out in the Permian Basin. Now there's a flag on the play, and it looks like that's going to be it's a 5-yard penalty. Let's see what they signal if they do. Illegal substitution for the Bulldogs. So
when you're the Bulldogs, you can't afford to have anything go wrong at this point. I mean,
exactly.
You can't have any kind of penalty because your offense has basically been stagnant.
So now 3rd down and 15 at their own 25-yard line. High snap. Quarterback's going way back into the depths of the field. He's got a little pressure, and it's just thrown away out of bounds. The closest receiver was number 19, Kayon Ivory. Number 5, Cameron. No, I believe it's number 9, Javion Moore, that was back there pressuring the quarterback.
Javion Moore putting pressure on the quarterback.
And even then, Joe, they weren't just overdoing it. They, I think they're trying to be sportsmen about the situation and, give them a chance to throw the ball. Let's have a game and not just sack and,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's difficult to do because you're out there and you're trained. You go through all the practices to try to go after everybody, and it's hard to hold up with regard to this.
Wow. So what we're kind of hesitating about, we got distracted. The snap was low and bobbled by the punter. He got it, he kicked it, and right away he got knocked down. But I didn't see a flag down there, and I thought it would be at least running into the kicker. It was a short punt. There is a flag on the play past the chains at about the 42-yard line. So Al Qualman saying that there might have been some extracurricular activity after the play. We'll see the signal now from the white cap, the head referee. Looks like something's being explained to the Viking coaches. Personal foul against the Vikings.
And there's really no need for that because at this point, I can see where Trimble Tech's going to get a little frustrated with what's going on, but frankly, on the Viking side of the ball, everything's gone their way.
Yeah, and even if someone on the other team starts something, just back off. There's no need to.
Absolutely.
But wow, this is going way back.
15-yard penalty.
I wonder if there were 2 penalties because that went 30 yards, Joe. There was, unless that happened at the 40. The flag was on the left-hand side of the 40.
Yeah, I think it was from the end of the play.
Dawson is the quarterback. He steps back. It's a pass to Cole Fuller, the tight end, across 25-30, 35-40, comes this way, and he's stopped at the 46-yard line by number 42. That'll be Kendall Taylor.
Right, and there was a defender that, obviously it was a screen, and so it's set up to let the defense come in, but they almost got to Jack Dawson.
So Cole Fuller, who has caught some passes.
31 yards. 1st and 10.
Jack Dawson back, throws over to the far side. It's just short hopped a little bit to Caleb Phillips, who come out of that running back position over to the flat. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 10 at their own 46-yard line.
2nd and 10.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, if they, they've thrown the ball, twice now. See if they just, run it on this possession.
Or at least short passes.
Yeah.
They've been getting some yardage after the short passes. It's a handoff up the. No, it's not. It's a zone read. It's a pass over the middle intended for Cam Brady, but he was in some traffic. And it looks like number 42 for the Bulldogs was in there. That's Kendall Taylor as part of the defensive coverage.
For the Bulldogs.
But there was at least double coverage and
Right.
some traffic because there was another receiver in the area.
Exactly. And
That was Trayvon West.
It will be interesting because Trimble Tech, if they stop him here, that's going to be at least a moral victory for them.
Sure.
At this point, and it still is only 14-0.
It is 3rd down and 10. Yeah, like you say, 14-0. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Here's the snap. It's a handoff to Caleb Phillips. He's over the right tackle. He drops the ball. I think it bounced right back to him, though. Almost like and actually, you know, it was recovered by, yeah, it was recovered by him. And so they stopped him just short of the first down, so it's going to be 4th and 1. There's an offside penalty against, now they will take the penalty because it'll be 3rd and 5 instead of 4th and 1.
It's an offsides call on the Bulldogs.
So that will put the ball at the 49-yard line
That's
inside
the right
Bulldog
call.
territory.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely you take that.
you don't want
The
4th
extra
and
down.
1. So
And 5.
now with just under 4 minutes to go, the Vikings will have it 3rd and 5 at the Bulldog 49-yard line.
Yeah, and the 2 times that they've run it up the middle, they've had
They just had
tremendous success. So.
Twins right, single left. Phillips behind Dawson. Dawson throws to the far side. It's caught by Cam Weil at the 43. He'll get to the 38. It looks like, yep. So Cameron Weil makes that catch. So he has a rush for a touchdown, and now he's caught a pass. So, you know, Cameron Weil, Joe, he's a baseball player.
I remember from last year.
Yep, and he's a senior. He's already committed to play baseball at the University of New Mexico. But wanted to come back. He hadn't played football in a couple of years.
Huh?
That's it. But came back. He wanted to play football his senior year and join in with some other the baseball guys and some of his friends on the team. And he's made an impact this year. Twins left, single right. Dawson steps back. He looks down the field. He's got Colt Fuller open. It's caught at the 15, and he'll be dragged down at the 11-yard line. So Colt Fuller comes out of that tight end position.
Right, Fuller made a nice catch because that ball was low and a little bit behind him, so he made a nice adjustment to catch that ball.
You're exactly right, and I was hesitating to say if he caught it because I was wanting to make sure. But that's another first down for the Vikings as they are in position to score again at the 11-yard line. 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. The Vikings ahead 14-0. Now trips left, no one right. Phillips behind Dawson. Phillips takes a handoff over the right guard. He goes to the right side. He'll scamper in the 11-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, well, speaking of traffic, Bill, it looks like he had a toll tag right on the express lane to get through all the way.
Now I got to tell you, I think one of those key blocks down there this time was by number 53, Raul Martinez. I think he was on that right side, and he helped to make that path available. And he's getting some pats on the back, so I think I got that right. I just try to give some love to these offensive linemen and who don't usually get their names called out. The kick is blocked. It's bobbled. It's picked up by number 42 for the Bulldogs. He'll be tackled by Joey Hartley, who I'll say saves the touchdown. So they got in and blocked that kick.
Well, it wasn't just one guy coming through. There were 3 guys that broke through the line. I mean, there was absolutely no protection at that, on that kick. I mean, 3 of the Bulldogs came through, busting through the line, and any one of them could have gotten to that kick.
Well, Joe, and I happened to be looking down because I was trying to catch a number of someone, so you saw it happen. I have to admit, I didn't see it come through. Did it look like was the line for Lamar just not quite ready, or do you think they're a little lackadaisical?
I don't know what the situation was, but I know that there were huge gaps in the line, and they just came busting through. And like I said, there were 3 Trimble Tech players that just had an absolute shot at blocking that kick.
Well, I'm pretty sure one of them was Kendall Taylor. He was the one that picked up the ball, I believe, and headed toward the end zone, and then tackled by Joey Hartley, number 44 for the Vikings. So now they'll score 20-0, and that's got to make the Bulldogs feel like, hey, we've contributed something here now, stopping that extra point. And they're playing tough, not just sitting back. They penetrated that line of scrimmage and blocked the kick. So Blake Ford has it teed up. It's going to be fielded at the 5-yard line on the far hash mark up to the 10, the 15. Tried to follow a blocker, and he is bulldogged down And that looks like that's going to be number 32, Jerry Hood.
Jerry Hood.
Jerry Hood's been all over the field. And
He has.
game.
Joe, that last scoring drive was 2 minutes and 52 seconds.
First and 10 Bulldogs.
Started at their own 25.
14-yard line.
Oh, excuse me, 146 on the time. And 6 plays, 3 first downs were made. And the score now 20-0 in favor of the Vikings.
So all scoring drives have been under 2 minutes. So they've had kind of obviously a fast strike offense.
Now the Bulldogs call timeout. The quarterback,
Flag
no,
down on the field.
oh, it's delay of game. I thought I saw the quarterback trying to call timeout, but now the official says no, delay of game. And like you said earlier, Joe, you just can't afford to have even simple mistakes. Now they're saying timeout. Okay.
They gave him the
So
timeout.
they're waving off the flag and saying that someone heard them call timeout, so that's good that they won't get the 5-yard penalty.
Penalty. Timeout.
So it'll be 1st and 10 when they come back on the field from their own 19-yard line. Joe, I mean, I'm trying to figure out if they're going to be able to try to throw deep, if they're going to maybe do a student body left or right just to have some, protection to move the ball. The
Right. Well,
Bulldogs.
obviously, as far as size is concerned, talent's concerned, it looks like they're outclassed by the Vikings. And so what I've seen them try to do when they've attempted to pass the ball is that they're having the quarterback roll out, roll to his right in order to try to throw it. On a couple of occasions, though, he has rolled so far deep, behind the line of scrimmage, that he just doesn't look to have the arm strength really to get it downfield.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what their plan is. When they've tried to run the ball, obviously they've got a runner in Keyshawn Thompson that has had some success in other games, but it just doesn't look like he's able to penetrate the Vikings defensive line.
Yep.
So.
Sure enough. So now they come back out ready to go. Trips left, single right, one running back in the backfield with the quarterback for the Bulldogs. Man in motion comes this way out of the slot position. It's going to be a handoff over the right side. He'll be caught at the line of scrimmage. And that's going to be number 54 for the Vikings, Braden Richard. Oh, I'm sorry, Braden Richard.
Right.
Richard,
We've been told that that looks like the Vikings have substituted quite a few people on defense, so we got wholesale substitutions on the defensive side of the ball for the Vikings. So it'll be interesting to see if Trimble Tech can take advantage of that.
And Richard actually tackled him from behind the line of scrimmage. He pulled him down at the line of scrimmage. Now the quarterback is scrambling to the far side. He launches it down the field. It's going to be a tip ball. No, it's going to be intercepted.
interception by Lamar.
It's really hard, Bill, when you're running, to your left and you're a right-handed quarterback to throw that ball and get anything on it.
Yep. Well, the senior Braxton Thomas, number 2, comes up with that interception. So he's going to get the turnover belt.
1st and 10 at the 34-yard line of the Bulldogs.
I'm wearing a turnover belt right now, Bill.
I wish you would turn over your belt.
I'm wearing that turnover belt in the booth.
Is that an apple turnover or cherry turnover?
Well,
All right, so the Vikings start deep in, or midway through Bulldog territory, 1st and 10 at the Bulldog 34-yard line. Trips left, single right. Looks like Anthony Williams in the backfield now behind Dawson. It's going to be a handoff to Williams. He'll come this side, stretching it out. He's at the 30, 25, and he'll get stopped by number 42, Kendall Taylor, who tucked his shoulder and said, "You ain't going no further." I read his lips. That's what he said. "You ain't going no further."
well, you do have that ability, Bill, and I envy it, but I can barely see the field from where I am right now.
So 11 yards on the carry to the 23-yard line for Anthony Williams. Stretch that play out to this sideline. Now the ball is on this near hash mark, so we've got trips to the right, single left. Williams again in the backfield behind Dawson. Here's the snap. Dawson throws to the far flat. It's 19, Trayvon West to the 10-5 and touchdown, Trayvon West. So there's a 23-yard pass play.
Yeah, I have to say Trayvon West just exploded right out after he got that ball. There was absolutely no chance whatsoever that they were going to get him. I mean, he was shot out of a cannon when he got that ball.
Sure enough.
Dawson pass.
So Dawson did a little bit of a fake this way, semi-bootleg, turn and threw it to the flat. West was there. It's good to see his ankle healthy. This kick is way up high, and it's good, by the way. So now with 1:42 to go, it's 27-0 in favor of the Vikings. And I'll tell you, they're short passes, but it's the running game, if you will, Joe. Trayvon West caught that ball not too far in front of the line of scrimmage, and then he ran it.
Yeah.
So while it is a pass play, he ran most of the way in.
Yeah,
it's not like we're throwing deep on him.
They say that speed kills, and it really it killed, it murdered in that particular instance.
It did. Well, that time of possession was 17 seconds, 34 yards, 2 plays, and 2 first downs, including the statistical touchdown first down. Well, this is exciting for the homecoming crowd. And we do have a pretty decent crowd here for Lamar. One of the bigger crowds of the season, it looks like, on this sideline or these stands.
Yeah, they are encouraging the Lamar crowd to go over to the Trimble Tech side of the field.
Well, the stands have been filled in a little bit more over there on the side as people make it through traffic over here from Fort Worth.
Yeah, actually, there are more people here on the Trimble Tech side.
Blake Ford kicks that one into the end zone, so that touchback will bring the ball back to the 25-yard line for the Bulldogs, where they will start 1st and 10. Joe, you ready for some cooler weather?
Man, I can't believe that it's been as hot as it's been. I mean, this is October, and it's just crazy that we're in the 90s, in the mid-90s.
I know. I was up in Boise, Idaho earlier this week, and I felt like I was in Michigan because it was like in the 50s for the high each day, and it was in the 30s in the morning. And
yeah, I have to go to Burley, Idaho in a couple of in next month.
Burley, Idaho?
Burley, Idaho, yes.
Okay. Enjoy that.
Yeah.
You flying in and out of Boise?
I believe that's my only choice, Bill.
Okay. Twins left, twins right. Now we've got a man in motion coming to this side. Quarterback swings out to the back. He's going to be wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely no one was fooled on that one on the defensive side of the ball.
And so that's going to be Taj Lagrone was back there. Looks like about an 8-yard loss on the play. Puts the ball back at the 17-yard line.
Loss of 8 yards.
And that's going to bring up 2nd down and 18. Well, Idaho's a pretty cool place to go. Boise, if you get some extra time, Boise's a really nice city. It kind of has one of those,
Did you go by Boise State and see the Smurf turf?
I didn't get to go in to see the actual Smurf turf, and that was one of the things I wanted to do. Quarterback takes the ball, rolls this way. They're kind of giving him a little bit of time, and he just throws that one out of bounds. There was good coverage of his receivers. Joey Hartley was covering for the Vikings, as well as Harrison Griffith.
They just can't get anything going. I mean, he's running for. I mean, he's rolling out in order to try to get some time, but he's really running for his life.
Yeah.
And there's good coverage downfield. So they just have not established anything, whether it be the run or the pass.
Harrison Griffith, one of the guys we just called out. He's a baseball player also, a junior. Good starter on the football team as well. Really talented kid, that Harrison Griffith. All right, here's a snap. Quarterback rolls this way. He sees a receiver in the flat, but he's not going to be able to get it. He threw it behind him.
Thompson's pass intended.
Yeah, I think that they might want to try, something along those lines, to get the ball out of his hands really quickly, to get some short passes, get somebody open,
Bedford, number 49.
Within in the 5-yard range, something like that, and see if they can get some movement on first down, so they're not in this hole right away, because that running play put them in a position where there's no way they were going to be able to take themselves out of it.
Well, now in punt formation on 4th down and 18. Hopefully he'll get a good kick out of this one. He struggled a little bit back there punting. Oh, the snap bounces off of his knee, and the Vikings have recovered it down at the 10-yard line. Let's see who comes up with it. Looks like it was Moore. Javion Moore come up with the ball.
Looks like Javion Moore.
Well,
he'll get the turnover.
This is a series of disasters for Trimble Tech, and I don't know what you do But you just got to kind of keep fighting through it if you're that team.
Yeah, and I got to say, Lamar wasn't necessarily putting a lot of pressure on him,
No,
but
it was just a
the
bad
ball
snap.
just bounced off of his knee, and you've got to go for the ball. So it's first and goal for the Vikings at the 10-yard line. 45 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Trips left, no one right. Caleb Phillips, Trayvon West in motion. It's a pass into the end zone to Colt Fuller, and he'll catch it in the corner of the end zone. Touchdown Vikings on the 10-yard pass play. Colt Fuller coming out of that tight end position, open in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to decrease the time of possession with regard to scores. I mean, they're trying to get it down.
Yeah.
Because it's been, under 2 minutes, and they're trying to get it down to under 30 seconds.
Well, here we go for the 5th extra point of the quarter. Attempt for Blake Ford. Once again, Preston Gomez, another baseball player, the deep snapper. Here's the snap. Kick is up. There's flags on the play.
Flags on the play.
And we'll see what happens here. Offsides against the Bulldogs. That'll be declined.
Bulldogs decline.
A one-play drive, 6 seconds on the drive. It was a pass play from Jack Dawson to Colt Fuller in the corner of the end zone. And now it's 34-0.
Man, he had a sandwich in the end zone waiting for that ball.
He unpacked a lunch and ate it, did he?
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of sandwiches and lunches, have you ever been up to New England during the fall to see the leaves turn colors?
I grew up there, Bill. And
Oh, that's right. What was that high school you went to in Connecticut?
Norwich Free Academy.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I've heard that the leaves are starting to turn, and it's pretty nice up there.
It's beautiful, but when you live there, you never really pay attention to it.
Yeah. Now, I've been up there a couple of times. I was in the Burlington, Vermont area one time. Now, I'm a little bit colorblind, so all the trees look kind of special to me. Here's the kick.
Are you sure it was just your colorblindness that
Made you be special?
made him be special?
Oh, he's going to bring that from 3 yards deep in the end zone. He's out to the 10, makes a move to the 15. Wow, that was interesting.
Well, you know what? At this point, I don't think you can blame him, can you?
I want to carry the ball. I want to get some yardage, yeah.
I mean, if you break one, you break one. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point.
That was
34-0.
That was my thought in a souvenir shop, actually, up there in Vermont. If I break one, I break one. I was looking at some of these different little figurines, and
Lovely to look at, delightful to hold, but if you break it, we mark it sold.
there you go. You know that one.
Yeah.
They're just that way up there. They don't have much forgiveness for breaking their merchandise.
They do not.
All right, 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at their own 16-yard line. Going to have twins left, single right. It's a handoff to the far side. He pushes off one defender. He'll make a 1 yard to the 17.
You're around the left side. Credit the tackle to Crenshaw, number 4 for the Vikings. Second down and 9.
And we're going to have to go to the generic Anderson, I believe. That was number 22. Oh, 28. Oh, it is a real Anderson. Okay. Jay Ryan called out Anderson. I thought, oh, well, must not have that guy's number. But this is one of those times when it really is
Really
Anderson.
is Anderson.
Exactly.
Are you doubting Mr. Ryan over there?
Oh, no, not necessarily, but yes. Well, I thought it was a 22. The jersey was kind of, it wasn't starched and pressed and everything. But anyway, so it's a true Anderson.
Well, go ahead. That's the end of the quarter with the score 34. Lamar 34, Trimble Tech 0.
Yep, and a lot of Vikings have had the chance to catch the ball, run with the ball, and score.
And here we go with the drive chart and the time of possession for the first quarter. The first drive took 4 seconds. It was a drive of 4 yards, 1 play. Second was 49 yards, 2 plays, took 1:35. The third drive was 75 yards. It took 6 plays and 1:46. The fourth drive was 34 yards, took only 2 plays and 17 seconds. And the last drive was a 10-yard drive, 1 play and 10 seconds, all combining for 34 points and 5 drives We only had one miscue, and that was the blocked extra point on one of the touchdowns. And other than that, the Vikings were spectacular on both offense and defense.
On 2nd and 9, Joey Hartley picks off the pass, and he's going to go 17 yards for a pick six. The receiver was open behind Hartley, but it was not thrown deeply enough, and Joey Hartley actually became the receiver, and it was really thrown right to him, and he had a path into the end zone. And Joe, at this point, it's just there's not much you can do.
No, there really isn't much you can do.
But Joe, but good for these Viking players who are playing the game and doing what they can. And when you have a chance, you don't just fall down.
No, you don't fall down. You just run into the end zone like you did.
Now, there was a lot of movement up on the line. Flag on the play as the ball was being snapped. Looks like they're going to call illegal procedure against the Vikings. That'll back it up 5 yards.
5-yard penalty on the Vikes false start.
So again, Preston Gomez, baseball player on the deep snap. Jack Dawson, former baseball player, the quarterback and holder. And Blake Ford kicks it, and that would have been good from about 40 yards.
The kick is good.
So our new score, 41-0 in favor of the Vikings with 11:53 to go in the second quarter. Well, Joe, it's probably going to be pretty soon that we'll see some deep subs come into the game.
Are they? Well, no, I was going to say if they were going to bring in, I think that they're going to, try to run the ball most of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I would think so.
I believe he is 6 for 6 on kickoffs tonight. I believe that's the case because we have 6 touchdowns, and they kicked to us. So yeah, I believe he's 5 for 5 so far. A little running joke with Jay Ryan for a few years now. The kicker being 6 for 6 on kickoffs. That goes back to something I did several years ago when I was running stats and feeding him information. That ball is going to roll into the end zone. No one's going to bring it out. So the Bulldogs will start 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. James Douglas and it looks like number 1, Tyler Roberts, talking to each other down there. I think they were exchanging true pleasantries. I hope so. So 11:50 to go, clock running here. Bulldogs will start 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Some of the Vikings that we see out there now, number 22, Bradley Yanez. Over on this side,
Thompson and Johnson in the backfield for the Bulldogs.
twins left, twins right. Here's the snap. A little miscommunication in the backfield. The quarterback goes the other way, and there's a flag on the play as he's tackled just behind the line of scrimmage. Quarterback keeper by Johnson.
Tackle for Lamar, number 32.
Jerry Hood makes the tackle, but let's see what the penalty flag is all about.
Offside, Bulldogs.
Holding.
Holding a chop block
Now is it one or the other?
against the Bulldogs. Called.
I've never seen that as a combination call, I don't think, before. Oh, personal foul is what he's signaling, yeah.
It's a personal foul.
Chop block.
But he did more of a holding sign instead of that type of thing. So that's a chop block. So that's half the distance to the goal. Puts the ball back at about the 12-yard line. Now it's 1st and a long ways. The quarterback's back inside his own 5. He ducks out of some pressure to the 10. He'll get run out of bounds
Johnson on the keep.
at about the 15-yard line. Looks like Taj Legrone chased him out of bounds.
2nd and 23.
So 2nd down and 20 to go at the 15-yard line. So he picked up 8 yards on that play as he scrambled around to the far right side.
I mean, that was a pretty good, that was definitely a
2nd down and 20 from the 15.
They come back out with
positive play for them.
Twins left, twins right. Yeah, 3 yards. I'm sorry, because it's at the 15 from the 12. Thank you, Steve, correcting me on that. It was a 3-yard gain. Now 3-yard loss, so they're right back at the 12-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and 23.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to have a little bit of a space there, but the defender shot the gap and got him.
Yep.
Third down, 23. They're 0 for 4. Game
Right.
to date on 3rd
Yep.
down.
3rd down and 23. Trips right, single left. The deep snap. There's no pressure. Now there is pressure. He ducks one receiver, and he's going to be tackled in the end zone for a safety.
Safety.
And Kobe Long, I believe, number 20.
Brought down in the end zone.
Kobe Long, I believe.
Kate Carlson making the tackle.
No,
Looks like
26.
he's hurt coming off the field. He's shaking up a little bit.
Kate Carlson is still not playing this season so far after some surgery, and we hope the best for him in his recovery. So the score now 43-0 after the safety, and the Bulldogs will have a free kick from their own 20-yard line.
Well, it was difficult for him. I mean, it's unfortunate because he had a little bit of room, looked like he was going to get away, and he just couldn't.
Yeah.
Couldn't survive the second wave of the pressure.
I'm going to try to pull up some stuff and see what's happening in other games in our area and in our district tonight.
After the safety, the kickoff will be from the 20-yard line.
Martin High leads North Crowley 13-0 early in about midway through the second quarter. Arlington High School leads Pascal 35-0 with 8 minutes to go in the second quarter. And Arlington Bowie leads Arlington Sam Houston they won 44-13 last night. And you know what today is? It's National CB Radio Day. 10-4, good buddy. It's October 4th.
You used to have CB, didn't you?
Oh, I did. I talked to those truckers. All right, well, here's the kick. It's up. It's going to be rolling and picked up at the 30-yard line out to the 35-40. That's Trayvon West across the 50-40. 35 accelerating 20, and he'll be pushed out of bounds at about somewhere around the 10-yard line, 9-yard line. That's about a 55-yard return by Trayvon West, and he was just tiptoeing down the sidelines.
He was kind of picking his way down there and just kind of, at the last second, he just couldn't hold his balance. Kind of surprised that they haven't him back there returning kicks.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if before long we see someone else, because he's had an ankle tweak once or twice, and you don't want to unnecessarily get him injured. Well, the Vikings start 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. Man in motion. It's handed off this way. Cam Brady will scamper in from 9 yards out. He came in motion from the far side and strung it out all the way to this sideline and went in untouched. So Martin High School's, I won't say struggling, but they're not having their way exactly with North Crowley. North Crowley also in our district. It's 13-0 over there at North Crowley. Kick is up and it's good. And so now the score moves to 50-0 here. 6:55 to go, and they're appropriately the officials on the field have asked for the clock just to keep rolling.
Yeah, I think that's a very good move by the officials. I think that's something that needs to be done. You just can't. You've got to do that in order to get this game
Joe, as I mentioned earlier in the pregame show, we've got some sponsors that help out the Booster Club so much with a lot of things. Dickey's Barbecue, which has a location in North Arlington. On Thursday nights, the nights of the sub-varsity games, junior varsity, freshmen, they bring sandwiches and sometimes some hot links over, give them to the Booster Club at a very low price, so the Booster Club can turn around and sell them and make a decent amount of money, some revenue, along with their other concession items. So Dickey's Barbecue does a lot. So any Viking fan that can, go into Dickey's, have lunch, dinner, and be sure and tell them thank you for supporting Lamar Viking football. RJ Construction, another company here in Arlington that is a longtime supporter of Lamar athletics overall, but including football. And then Next Court, who makes those playing field surfaces. The kick is bobbled inside the 5. He brings it out to the 5, and he'll be wrapped up at the 6. And they're going to say the 7-yard line.
On the return, out to the 7-yard line.
Looks like number 9, Javion Moore, led the tackle, but he had some help down there. I'm going to say Jerry Hood. It looks like number 27, Harrison Griffith, also down there in that gang tackle. And here's the deal. That ball probably could have rolled into the end zone for the touchback. The Vikings weren't going to go down there and just try to touch it down or anything. But now they're throwing 7-yard lines first and goal.
There's only so much you can do with regard to substitutions. I mean, they're not.
Yeah.
I think the Vikings are doing all that they can. Really.
Oh yeah. Well, you see, like there's Elijah Crenshaw over on the far side defensively. Braxton Thomas in. Looks like Sir Durham's still in. Here's a run up the middle. He'll get out to the 10, maybe the 11-yard line, just inside the 11. So we'll call that about a 4-yard gain. That'll bring up second down and 6. Number 38 for the Vikings, Miguel Salinas, made that stop.
And to Triple Tech's credit, they are still playing. I mean, they have not.
Oh yeah.
They're not just giving up. They're out there trying, even though the score's 15-0. So, kudos to them for that.
Exactly. So they come out again, twins to the right, single to the left, one in the backfield, the tight end just off the line of scrimmage. Here's the snap. It'll be a quarterback keeper to the right side. He'll string it out. He's up to the 15, 20, 25. He's finally tackled. The ball came loose, but I'm pretty sure he was down. Yeah, and that'll be their first down of the season. That was a nice run by the quarterback there. Looks like James Douglas led the way on that tackle. So they're out now in some breathing room at the 25 where a touchback would have been, but they have 18 yards of offense out of it.
But like we just said, I mean, they're still playing.
Oh yeah.
And that was, obviously it's the first down of the game, but yeah, it's unfortunate their quarterback got hurt on the play.
Well, Tyler Roberts comes in at quarterback now for the Bulldogs. The quarterback on that last play limped a little bit going off the field. Roberts takes it to the right side. He'll be met at the line of scrimmage. Looks like they're going to say he made it to the 27-yard line, so a gain of about 2.
Gain of about 2 yards on the play, 2nd and 8.
Jerry Hood was over there to lead that tackle.
Jerry Hood on the stop with others.
Well, when we get a break, we're going to have to talk about my alma mater, SMU.
Shane Buechele, speaking of former, we've talked about him some in the other now, but we're going to talk about him some more, definitely. Do they host Tulsa tomorrow?
They do, and they're number 24 in the polls. So
now there's a Lamar connection to Tulsa. Damon Evans, our freshman coach, his son Dane played quarterback at Tulsa for 3 or 4 years, just recently. So some Lamar connections to both of those teams.
Yeah, the schedule is going to be it's going to be interesting because they're going to have to play UCF, and that's going to be a tough game for them. Houston may be tough, but, they have a chance.
They do. Well, they're 4-0.
They're I think they're 5-0.
Might be 5-0. But Shane Buechele, it's just so much fun to see him thrive in that situation. He did well his freshman year at Texas, and they got the new coach, and he brought in Ellinger at quarterback, and Shane got transitioned into more of a support and on the sidelines. But that guy never complained at all. Here's a snap. Quarterback keeper to this side around the edge.
He's got some good running.
He goes to the 34-yard line.
By number 37, Eric Smith.
He's just short of the first down. It's going to set up a 4th and 1.
4th down and 1.
And definitely go for it here. If you're
Oh, yeah.
If you're the Bulldogs, there's no reason to not go for it.
You're not, and unfortunately, they just haven't, between the snaps and some other things, they haven't been having an effective punting game, so you may as well. But, Shane Buechele and that whole situation at Texas, his sophomore, his junior year, around the sideline, but never complaining. He was always supporting true team players, so I'm so glad to see him thrive.
I mean, he did not play poorly. It was just because of a change in the way.
Herman brought in his guy, and that's what it was.
So at SMU, he's flourished. And obviously, he's playing a little bit lesser competition than he was in the Big 12. But
he's doing his job
really well, and so I think everybody on the Hilltop is very excited about him, and very excited about the team. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they do the rest of the year, and to be back in the top 25 and for the first time since the death penalty is very.
Is it really the first time since? Wow.
The death penalty, yes.
The Hilltop, spoken like a true alum.
Well, only from the law school, so.
You know how a lawyer sleeps, Joe? He lies on one side, then he rolls over and lies on the other. I actually had a lawyer friend tell me that joke recently, so it came from a lawyer. Hey, speaking of that, it's 4th and 1. All right, here's the snap. Oh, it's a high snap that goes behind him. The quarterback picks it up. He's going to scramble for his life, and he'll be tackled at the 20-yard line. So just when, man, if that had been a clean snap,
so good for them. I know.
I thought, man, they're gonna come up and get a first down, but the snap goes way over him.
He's hurt a little bit too. He's
well, the poor guy's just trying to run for his life.
I know.
And now he's got to come back out on defense.
It's really it's hard because. We sound like we feel so sorry for him, and it's
well, you just
but it is it's a tough thing when you got 4th and 1 and that snap just goes over your head, and you got a chance to keep the drive alive and gain a little momentum and
maybe they can run out the clock.
Well, yeah, there's 31 seconds to go. The play clock hasn't started yet, and so I think we're just going to see the clock tick down to 0 for the half. The Vikings do come out. 20 seconds to go. Now the play clock is showing 15. Colt Fuller coming in at quarterback here. Caleb Phillips behind Fuller. Here's the snap. It's going to be a handoff to Phillips. He goes to the 20, to the 15, 10, and there's a flag on the play. He did get into the end zone for a touchdown, but I think this is going to come back. The time has expired in the first half. Holding against the Vikings. So there will be one untimed down.
It's an offensive foul. Why would they do that? It says roll the shot clock.
All right, so the ball now back at the 30-yard line. And, I mean, Phillips on that play.
I think you take a shot into the end zone, Bill.
Throw deep.
I'm only kidding.
I know you are. I know. Yeah, he was untouched.
Yeah.
He just went through, and there was and I don't know that the hold really had a lot to do with that. It was closer to the sideline. It might have, but so now.
Yeah, I would definitely.
We've got Cade Hoogerwerf as the far receiver, Cam Weil in the slot, Caleb Phillips behind Colt Fuller. Colt Fuller, another baseball player, catcher. Yeah, that's a good point. One of our scoreboard operators saying that the running clock now has messed kind of things up. Delay of game against the Vikings, and that will end the half. Well, they've hung half 100 on them here in the first half,
Right.
and not by trying to be aggressive. Overall, there's just some gifts that have happened. The pick six by Hartley, you've got to catch the ball and run with it, and it looks
Exactly.
worse if you just fall down.
There's been some fumbles, down close to the end, close to the goal line by Trimble Tech. There's been some miscues along the way. It's just been a series of of unfortunate events by Trimble Tech, and
Great selection
some
of food
just
and drinks.
good play by the Vikings. But all of the drives have been really short, except for that 175-yard drive. So it's not been like the Vikings have taken the ball and driven it down the field every time. It's just been good field position and unfortunate mistakes by Trimble Tech that have led to these scores.
Sure enough. Well, I was just checking to see what's going on in West Texas Miles Stomping Grounds, but it looks like everyone is on a bye week this week, so no games to report there apparently.
All right.
So we are about to see the Trimble Tech band perform for halftime, and then we will have the homecoming festivities here. We will turn down our mics and turn up the ambience so you can hear the bands, and we'll be back a little bit before the end of halftime. With Joe Toronto, I'm Bill Frawley. We'll be back.
On behalf of the Superintendent, Commissioner Trimble Ramos, and Director Isabel Ross Reinhardt, please join me in welcoming to the field for halftime entertainment, the Trimble Tech Marching Band. Bulldog Band is under the field direction of drum major David Ferrero, Juan Tovar. And now, sit back and enjoy as they perform our show entitled The New World. at the game. Continuing our halftime entertainment, it's homecoming. Take it away, Mr. Roma. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2019-2020 Lamar High School Homecoming Ceremony. On behalf of the LHS Student Council, we would like to extend a special welcome to our returning alumni. Welcome back, Vikings. Please turn your attention to the field as we recognize this year's homecoming prince and princess. This year's homecoming prince is Mr. Tyler Aldrin. Tyler is the son of Scott and Marina Aldrin. Tyler loves to participate in Special Olympics volleyball, Miracle League baseball, and attending the Hills Church, where he helps in many service projects. He also enjoys music and working with his teacher, Mrs. White, doing various jobs while working in the library. But Tyler's favorite thing is hanging out with his sister, Shelby. Mr. Tyler Aldrin. This year's homecoming princess is Miss Bailey Oliver. Her mother is Ranchelle Oliver, and her father is Jonathan Blake. Bailey enjoys listening to music and dancing. She loves to play soccer and is always on her iPad. She's always happy, has a positive attitude, and is a good friend to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, your homecoming prince and princess, Mr. Tyler Aldrin and Miss Bailey Oliver. Now, this year's homecoming court. First, the candidates for homecoming king. Our first candidate is Mr. Diego Artea. Diego is the son of Miss San Juana Gomez. He was nominated by the National Honor Society, where he serves on the executive board. Diego is co-president of the Lamar Choir, is in the a cappella choir, and is a member of the Madrigal Show Choir, which he serves as dance captain. Diego is vice president of Energy and Environment for Student Council and an active member of the Core Corps. Diego plans on attending the University of Texas or UCLA. He is escorted by his mother, Ms. San Juana Gomez. Mr. Diego Artea. Mr. Jeremy Barcos Morales. Jeremy is the son of Juan and Delia Barcos. He is nominated for award by the Pride of Lamar Band. In addition, Jeremy is a member of LULAC and the Youth Club. Jeremy plans to attend the University of North Texas and study music. He is escorted this evening by his mother, Mrs. Delia Barcos. Mr. Jeremy Barcos Morales. Mr. Jack Dawson. Jack is the son of Mike and Amy Dawson. He was nominated by Lamar Viking football.
This is Jack's third year on the varsity team. He is an academic all-district athlete, as well as last season's District 4-6A Offensive Player of the Year. After graduation, Jack hopes to play football and plans to pursue a business degree. He is escorted tonight by his mother, Mrs. Amy Dawson. Mr. Jack Dawson. Mr. Jamari Davis. Jamari is the son of Elizabeth Bacon and has been nominated tonight by the PSU. He is a member of the Lamar Madrigals and Show Choir, Blue Curtain Productions, International Thespian Society, and the Acapella Choir. Jamari plans to attend Texas State University or the University of Houston and pursue a degree in performance and production. He is escorted tonight by his theater teacher, Miss Emily Johnson. Mr. Jamari Davis. Mr. James Brando. James Brando is the son of Princess Anne. He plays football for the varsity team. He is an active member of the Acapella Choir and the Madrigals Show Choir. Hobbies include cooking and hanging out with his friends. He plans to play football while attending college. He is escorted this evening by his mother, Miss Princess Hayes. Mr. James Brando is the son of Robert and Heidi Guevara. He was nominated for the court by Blue Curtain Productions. Mr. Javion Moore. Javion is the son of Ashley Moore and Damarian Baggett. He was nominated by Lamar's Avid program. Javion is a 3-year varsity football player and does community service every year assisting homeless persons. Javion plans to further his education at Texas A&M Commerce, majoring in business. He is escorted to see Joey Velasco, the varsity cross-country team, and he continues the proud Lamar tradition as this year's roar. Joey serves as vice president of social media for Student Council. Joey says he loves all of the Lamar fans and the Lamar Core crew. He is escorted this evening by his mother, Miss Elizabeth Velasco. Mr. Joey Velasco. Our first finalist for Homecoming Queen is Miss Edwina Adams. Edwina is the daughter of Lenisa Adams and Gary Bates. She was nominated to represent Student Council. She is a member of the Lamar Color Guard and serves as social officer for the Vi-Queen. Edwina enjoys volunteering with her local Girl Scout troop in her spare time. After graduation, Edwina plans to attend Texas Women's University, where she will earn her bachelor's degree in dental hygiene. She is escorted this evening by her stepfather, Mr. Gary Bates. Miss Edwina Adams. Miss Max Castillo Quintana. Maggie is the daughter of Audrey Castillo and Mariana Quintana. She was nominated by the Girls Soccer Program. A 4-year member of varsity soccer, she is also a member of the National Honor Society, the Health Occupations and Student Organization, and assists the football team as a trainer. After graduation, she plans to attend the University of Houston as a pre-professional major in pharmacy with the goal of attending pharmacy school. She has a huge passion for cars, especially G-Wagons. Real Madrid, bettering herself, learning, and life itself. Maggie enjoys making lifelong memories with friends, spending time with her family, and helping others. Maggie is being escorted by her father, Mr. Aubrey Castillo. Miss Maggie Castillo Quintana. Miss Andrell Grimaldi. Andrell is the daughter of Sorrel and Andrew Grimaldi. She was nominated to represent the Lamar Vikings. After graduation, Ansel plans to attend Texas A&M University and will be a double major in child health and neonatal nursing. She is supported this evening by her brother, Mr. Anthony Grimaldi. Miss Ansel Grimaldi. Miss Paige Hart. Paige is the daughter of Beverly and E.J. Harvin. She was nominated by her beloved volleyball team members. Paige is involved in National Honor Society, the a cappella choir, and club volleyball. After graduation, Paige plans to attend Texas A&M Corpus Christi and major in biomedical sciences with the intent of pursuing a career as an orthodontist. Paige is supported this evening by her father, Mr. E.J. Harbin. Miss Paige Harbin. Miss Mia Palladini. Mia is the daughter of Todd and Jamie Palladini. She was nominated by the Lamar National Honor Society, which she serves as president. He also serves class council as senior class president, is on Arlington's Student Leadership Advisory Board, is a member of the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, and is involved with Lamar's Problem of Practice. She has been a varsity soccer starter since her freshman year and currently serves as a co-captain. Upon graduation, she is committed to the soccer program at Washington Baptist University as a scholarship recipient. Plans to study journalism, or perhaps biology, as a precursor to becoming a dermatologist. She is supported this evening by her father, Mr. Todd Palladini. Miss Mia Palladini. Miss Chloe Ram. Chloe is the daughter of Leanne Ram and Scott and Emily Ram. She was nominated by the Lamar Choir, where she serves as co-president, is a member of the a cappella choir and the Madrigal show choir, which she also serves as dance captain. Chloe is a member of the varsity volleyball team and has earned an academic all-district honor. She is a member of the National Honor Society. In the future, Chloe plans to attend San Diego State University and pursue a degree in media studies. She is supported tonight by her father, Mr. Scott Rand. Miss Chloe Rand. Miss Brooke Scott. Brooke is the daughter of Jeff and Alicia Scott and the younger sister of Parker. She was nominated by the Madrigal Show Choir and is also a varsity cheerleader, a member of the a cappella choir, Young Life, National Honor Society, National Science Honor Society, Future Business Leaders of America, and Ignite. Brooke has also served as a member of the Lamar Choir's Student Board. After graduation, Brooke plans to attend Baylor University or Texas A&M to study business entrepreneurship and veterinary medicine with the goal of owning her own veterinary practice. Miss Brooke Scott. Our final homecoming queen nominee is Miss Madison Young. Madison is the daughter of David and Dixie Young. She was nominated by girls track and field. Madison is also involved in National Honor Society, is a varsity cheer captain, and is president of the Student Council. After graduation, she plans to attend the University of Georgia, earn a degree in communication sciences and disorders. Tonight she is supported by her father, Mr. David Young. Miss Madison Young. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. Your 2019-2020 homecoming king is Mr. James Randall. And finally, your 2019-2020 homecoming queen is Miss and Trimble. Congratulations to the new homecoming queen and queen. The Lamar Student Council, faculty and staff thank all of the students, parents, and alumni who turned out to make this such a memorable evening. From all of us, all of you, Viking fight never dies.
Welcome back to the broadcast. We've had a bit of a break. We had the homecoming celebration. The new king and queen were crowned, and we're just minutes away from the Vikings returning to the field. They've got a sign up in front of the Viking tunnel. No matter where you go, you'll always find home, appropriate for homecoming. And here they come back out onto the field. The Vikings who lead 50-0 at the half over the Trimble Tech Bulldogs. And Joe, it was almost 57-0 at half.
Yeah.
Because Cam Brady went it, or no, that was the previous touchdown counted, but there was a touchdown that
It's called back because of
Called back,
penalty.
yeah.
But for the penalty.
and then there was another penalty, the delay of game, that they said, okay, now we just run the clock out, and because they had one on time down. So
Right. Quite the half for the Vikings, and an unfortunate half for Trimble Tech.
yeah, and as we were talking about, the longest drive was 6 plays, I think, a minute 46 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's 175 yards, but it really didn't take up much time, like you said. And I think that one of the things that's going on is that the Vikings have had incredible field position, and because of some miscues on the part of Trimble Tech, they've had the opportunity. The Vikings have had the opportunity to score at will. So it's just been, like I said, a series of unfortunate events.
And really the only kind of even offensive close to a miscue for the Vikings is that blocked extra point on about the third or fourth. I guess it was the third touchdown, because at one point it was 20-0.
Right.
So yeah, interesting observation that our spotters and people up here are mentioning is that Lamar deferred. They won the toss. They deferred to the second half, and now they're choosing to kick off to the Bulldogs.
And that's a very classy move on
Yeah.
their part.
And I tell you, Coach, I tell you, Joe, that's one of the things I like about Coach DeLay. He's very much sportsmanship, and every time we've talked on the coaches show, and just he and I visit sometimes on the side, he's all about sportsmanship, and he says, I know what it's like to be on the other side of one of those lopsided deals. Fair catch is called for at the 5-yard line, so that'll bring the ball out to the 25-yard line. And that'll be probably the best starting position of the game for the.
So I think it is the best starting field position for them.
Yeah, I think there was a touchback earlier that brought it to the 25, so they'll tie. But they've been returning some kickoffs and not getting out to the 25-yard line. But going back to what I was saying, Coach DeLay is very big on sportsmanship, and one thing he'll say is, I have been on the other side of that type of a score too many times to try to do anything that's unsportsmanlike or inappropriate. So. Quality class act all the way around, Coach Laban DeLay here in his 5th year as the head coach of the Lamar Vikings. Okay, number 5, Devin Johnson is the quarterback for the Bulldogs. Twins left, single right, one in the backfield. He's in motion. Now Thompson to the right-hand side. Here's the snap. Johnson, quarterback looks back, a little bit of pressure, and I think they were just kind of easing up, and they did force him to throw it. There was a receiver in the same area code, and that would be number 48, Giovanni Lopez.
Yeah, there was really nothing open, and he just kind of got to the sideline and decided to just throw it away.
Yeah. Darius Pendleton was one of the defenders there, and I remember last year on JV, it was fun to call him because that kid is fast, and I nicknamed him Darius Born in the Backfield Pendleton. Because
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that, yeah. So this will bring up 2nd down and 10 for the Bulldogs at their own 25-yard line. Now they've got Twins left, single right, one in the backfield. Here's the snap. It's going to be a handoff. He'll string it out to the far sideline. Nowhere to go. He will get wrapped up back at about the 20-yard line.
Number 7, the ball carrier, Keyshawn Thompson.
Yeah, he just didn't really have the blocking on that play to let him cut the run up field. He just was in no man's land when he got that handoff.
Also, number 2, Braxton Thomas. Loss of 4 yards. 3rd down. And 14. Clock is running.
Number 9's not out there on the field. He's on the sideline. Yeah. Quarterback rolls this side. Good blocking. He throws this one away, way out of bounds. It's actually caught out of bounds by Taj Legrone, who happened to be on the sideline. So they're getting some more pressure. Now it's 4th down and 14. Number 28, Keswin Kenny, one of our starters. Often call his name during some games. He was applying pressure there, but to get that pass thrown. Kevin Ramirez is the punter. The only person deep is the official back at the 43-yard line.
Let's hope he doesn't try to return it.
He's going to be blindfolded, Cotton. There's a punt.
That's very difficult for him to see.
It rolls from the 40 inside to the 35, and it's going to be stopped at the 32-yard line. And so the Vikings will start off. That's a 48-yard punt. That's going to be their best punt of the night.
It'll be 1st and 10, Vikings at their own 32-yard line.
With the clock rolling.
With the clock rolling. So Colt Fuller will bring the Vikings out on the field in a few minutes.
Now, is Colt still playing baseball?
Yeah, he's a catcher. He's a senior this year, so he'll be catching at the varsity level.
Fuller, number 13, quarterback for Vikings. Tailback.
Twins left, single right.
DeAndre Roberts.
I'd be surprised if they pass it. They just should be
Yeah.
running it now.
Hand off to Roberts, who goes over the right side, or excuse me, the left side. He kind of breaks a tackle, and then he gets tripled up, and he's hit at the 34-yard line. Tyler Roberts led the tackle for the Bulldogs, so Roberts on Roberts there.
Yeah, they strung it out and made a nice tackle on that play. Triple Tech did.
Well, if the chain crew will hold up the chain where it goes, we'll know exactly where things are. But
2 yards, 2nd and 8.
here's another handoff up the middle. This time, Roberts comes out to the 45 to the 50 across midfield, and he'll get you about the 47-yard line.
Yeah, he made about 3 guys miss on that play. He started up the middle and then cut it to the left, making 3 guys, like I said, miss. And so it was a fantastic run with a big gain.
Yeah, came around the left tackle and then kind of made a move or two, and like you say, broke some ankles, as the kids say these days. Twins right, single left. Roberts in the backfield. He'll take it this time to the far right side, stringing it out to the 45, to the 40, and he's taken down at the 40-yard line. Prince Mendez in on the tackle there.
To the 40-yard line.
And Mendez, I believe, is that like 5'8", 280 or 220 pound, 5'8", 220.
Kind of a fire plug.
Solid guy there, yeah. So Twins left, single right. Leandre Roberts in the backfield behind Fuller. Hand off to Roberts, straight. No, the ball's on the ground. Fuller tries to get it, and let's see who comes up with it. And it looks like Trimble Tech did recover it. So kind of a problem on the exchange there between Fuller and Roberts.
Fernando Escamilla from Trimble Tech got that ball.
Escamilla.
42-yard line, it'll be 1st and 10.
You know, the thing is that these guys for the Vikings are not used to really working together, and because we've got the second stringers in there, and
yeah. Well, and
had a little trouble on the handoff.
And we saw this a couple of weeks ago when they had a big lead. I think it might have been against Richland. We had some backups in, and you got to work those things out. But just the luxury of being able to have them come in and play, they can start to tune things up. Hand off to number 28, and he's going to get caught behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, what I was going to say is that's going to help you, in the playoffs in the event that somebody goes down. You've got some experience. They've got some experience playing in games like this.
And just the fact of bringing kids up through the program,
right?
Giving
Exactly.
them some talent for some experience for the future.
For the next year.
So Anderson was the ball carrier for the Bulldogs. He got stopped about 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 12 at their own 40-yard line.
Right, and that's not a generic Anderson. That's a real.
That's a true Anderson. That's right. So the Bulldogs come back out. Twins left, single right. Quarterback is Johnson for the Bulldogs, number 5. Here's a snap. He steps. He looks over the middle, and just behind the receiver, number 44, Trajan Morgan.
He had him open in the middle of the field, and he just threw it behind him.
Yeah.
And it was not really anything I think that the receiver could have caught. I think that was just too far behind him.
Keno Threadford was defending for the Vikings in the area, but like you said, it was just thrown behind him, and
he was going to pick up the first down because he was right about midfield, and he only had a couple more yards to pick up.
Oh yeah. Well, it's 3rd down and 12 now.
Tailback number 28, Anderson.
Trips left.
Next to Johnson.
The quarterback, he's got time. He dumps it off into the flat, but he'll be stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
Loss of a yard. Pass is complete to number 28, Anderson.
Anderson caught that pass as he went in motion out to the flat. He's the running back.
That was kind of, again, that was sniffed out by the defense. Just really knew exactly what was going to happen at that point. And it's really difficult. The quarterback's backpedaling as he's throwing that ball to the back who's surrounded by Vikings players.
25 for Lamar is Anderson.
And now we have a proverbial Anderson. We have a number 25 for the Vikings out there who led that tackle, but no 25 listed on the roster. They're coming through, putting some pressure on the punter, but that's another good kick, 2 in a row now. It rolls backwards a little bit, and it's going to be killed at the 30-yard line. So that's going to be a 31-yard punt for the Bulldogs. And the Vikings will start off back at their own 30-yard line. Well, John, I guess we'll expect to see some more running plays.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. I'd be surprised if we see another pass the rest of the game. You know,
maybe Colt Fuller throws something out to the flat just to get his arm kind of moving around, but nothing deep, I'm sure.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that you know, Trimble Tech has not been able to stop the runs when it's happened.
Yeah. So Murgalski comes into the game, receiver split outright. We've got two receivers to the left. Here's the snap. Almost bobbled. Number 30 to the 40 to the 45. That's going to be Tristan Crowder, who gets across right before midfield to get stopped at the 49-yard line.
Yeah, that's almost
So that's a 19-yard gain.
Yeah, 19 yards.
Oh, Hoogerwerf is now in at quarterback.
Number 18, Hoogerwerf at quarterback.
The Hoog.
Hoog at quarterback.
Another bobble snap, and he hands it off, and immediately the running back is hit in the backfield, and that is number 30, Crowder, once again. So now we've got kind of the third string in there.
He's brought down by number 65.
So Cade Hoogerwerf, he plays baseball also. So now brings up second down and 14 for the Vikings at their own 45-yard line. Vikings lead 50-0 here. Minute to go in the third quarter. Hoogerwerf up the middle. He goes across the midfield to 45, and he drags some players down to the 41-yard line. Yeah, so big, about a 14-yard run there by Hoogerwerf. Number 56, Joseph Jones was on the tackle for the Bulldogs.
Just when you think Trimble Tech's going to get a stop, and then something like that happens. Third string quarterback takes it right up the middle, and they've had problems with that all night long, is stopping any kind of run up the middle.
The Hoog was running like a fullback there because he was driving those legs and dragging people that that last yard or two. Twins left, single right. One in the backfield. That's Crowder. He'll take the handoff, and that was blown up from the get-go.
Number 30, Crowder on the carry. Say it again.
So
Well,
now
they're just coming through. I mean, the defensive line is just
21 guarding.
running through the
offensive
Viking
line,
offensive line right now.
and you can tell there's a difference in experience level between our first, second, third strings here. So the third quarter has expired with the running clock. It's 50-0. But very importantly here, some good sportsmanship being shown by both teams, and we're getting some additional players that really don't get on the field very much. Some time to get out there and get some reps, and you know, feel what it's like to get hit by another team, not just in your own practice and stuff.
Exactly.
So one of our listeners just texted me a message that doesn't live in Texas, said, so is there a mercy rule? And there's not in every 11-man football. Now, 6-man football, there's a mercy rule. I think it's if you're 45 points at half or something like that, but there's no mercy rule. But again, Lamar, coaching staff and players all showing excellent sportsmanship here in this game. Good question there.
Yeah.
So the Vikings have the ball
46-yard line.
at their own 46-yard line. It should be second down, I believe. Hoogerwerf takes it himself, comes this way, stretches it out.
Nice tackle.
Tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Number 32, that's Kevin Ramirez for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Ramirez tracked that play right from the get-go and took Hoogerwerf down.
Yeah. So now everything is showing second, but I believe it's third down because it was, I think, first down. But here's something interesting, Joe. Last night I was announcing the JV game and the freshman game that were here. The officials just didn't seem to know what was. There was a 15-yard penalty, but they marched it off 20 yards. It was just a weird thing. Crowder takes the handoff. He goes to the left side and gets nowhere. So that'll be a loss of one. Now the Vikings at their own 49-yard line. And there is an injured player on the field for the Bulldogs. He was involved in the tackle. And
Official timeout. We have an injured player on the field.
trainers from both sides coming out on the field to see about helping him out.
Yeah, I can't tell
Looks
who
like-
it is.
Yeah, it looks like it's either a knee or a calf cramp or something. They're looking at his left leg. He's on his back. He's moving his extremities, and he's got his left leg bent at an angle.
He's talking to you down there on the field.
They're checking out his range of motion of his knee, it looks like. Now they're going to help him up. And that's going to be number 7, Keyshawn Thompson, one of their key players. Fortunately, he's going to be able to get off on his own power, but limping a fair amount. And I'll tell you what, that's one of the players. Keyshawn Thompson has played one heck of a ball game this evening for the Bulldogs. All of them.
Yeah, playing both ways.
Yeah. All right, so the Vikings come out 3rd down and 20 at their own 49-yard line. Twins left, single right. Hoogerworth in at quarterback. Takes a snap. He's going to keep it. Goes over the right guard. Cross midfield to the 40. 45. He's got some room to the 30. He'll have a first down. Gets pushed out of bounds. I think it was number 1, Tyler Roberts was there.
Yeah, it's demoralizing, Bill, for Trimble Tech when you got him 3rd and 20 and you allow the quarterback Queeper for a first down.
Kmar Watson was.
You know what you're talking about. You're not supposed to say yardage. He's saying it. No, it's right back.
All right, so we've got a little communication thing going on up here in the box. Twins left, single right, 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Hand off to Crowder. He goes over the left side. He's met immediately. The ball comes loose, and it looks like Trimble Tech has recovered the ball. He was fighting for yardage at the line of scrimmage, and someone came in there and popped it loose.
Kentrell Smith, 1st and 10.
Number 54, Kentrell Smith, looks like he came up with it. Number 1, Tyler Roberts, I think, was also involved in helping to knock that ball loose.
Nice play. They had him tackled in the backfield and then forced the fumble, and nice recovery by Trimble Tech.
Yes.
It's, what do you want to hear if you were doing this?
That's the 2nd fumble recovery in the last 2 series or 3 series.
I think 2 out of the 3,
2 out of the 3.
I believe.
Thrown at
But I want to say this: so these subs that are in there for Lamar, at least they were getting pushback, but they did some blocking. Hoogerworth was able to get that 20-yard first down at least at one point. Here's a handoff to number 5 around the far side, 30, and he'll get maybe a yard. Looks like he made it up to about the 34, so they might give him 2 yards on that.
Yeah, it looked like he was building up a head of steam, but then was stopped.
Yes.
Like traffic on I-35 on a Friday afternoon.
You have any experience with that, Joe?
I do.
And
Too much experience.
He strung that out as far as he could. Now there's a timeout. I think someone is slow getting up on the far side, and that's going to be, is that 32? Jerry Hood coming off favoring his left ankle.
Who's doing what? And then you tell me the yardage once I'm done saying it. My RAM is real light at this age.
Clock rolling, 8:46 to go in the game. The Vikings leading 50-0.
I'm really kind of surprised that Jerry Hood is still in the game, actually.
I was too, actually. 2nd down and 8 for the Bulldogs. Trips left, single right. 1 with the quarterback in the backfield. Here's the snap. Looks to throw. Now it's a handoff. He goes across the far side, strings it out, and he'll get caught behind the line of scrimmage. Back at the original line of
Yeah, a little
scrimmage.
interesting play, a little trickeration there.
Trickeration, one of my favorite words.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he was going to try to keep it, and then he almost sort of a semi-reverse type thing.
It was sort of a semi-reverse.
Yeah.
It was an interesting handoff too. It wasn't really didn't really stick it in his belly. He just kind of handed like a loaf of bread to him.
Yeah, here, take this to your brothers.
Exactly.
There is a penalty flag on the play. It's holding against Trimble Tech. So just when, at least they were playing with or in front of the chains a little bit, now they're going to be back behind the chains. And it's going to be
24-yard line.
2nd down and about, 18, 17?
18.
2nd down, 18.
Something to that effect. Here's a snap. He throws to the flat to this side. It's caught at the 20. Makes a move to the 25, and he'll be taken down. Number 40, Sion Teohuma. This is a fun one. Teohema made the stop. Number 17.
I think you got that wrong, Bill.
I think I might have. That's one I actually try to practice between the games. Jameric Ross caught that pass, made some yardage. It's 3rd down and about 14 to go for the Bulldogs. They've got to get to the 42-yard line for a first down.
You got your safeties,
Now the Vikings,
staying right at the
Vikings
40-yard
are going to
line.
try to make sure and preserve this shutout that's in progress here. It's a deep pass downfield, and that's going to be out of bounds. Quarterback went to the far sideline, being pressured somewhat, and he had to throw it away.
Yeah, he had a man behind the defense over here, but there was no way that he had the arm strength, and as he was running sort of towards the sidelines to get it down to him, but he did have a man behind the defense.
Teohema on the pressure there. I think I got it right that time. That brings up 4th down and 13, punting situation for the Bulldogs. No one deep for the Vikings. Looks like they're just kind of going to make sure that there's now there's a timeout called by the Bulldogs. 5:56 to go in the game. Same score that we had at halftime.
Take on North Crowley right here at Ravens Field. The game starts at 7 p.m.
Next Friday night, neither you nor I, Joe, will be in the booth, but it's a home game as the Vikings will host North Crowley.
That's right.
We're going to be down there in Aggieland watching Bobby Brown.
We are. We are going to get ready for that.
Do a little tailgating.
See him play Alabama.
So we'll see Chris Owens too then. We'll see 2 former Vikings. So I think I just heard someone ask if Alabama's good this year.
They're mediocre this year.
Alabama!
It's not as usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, we want to make sure and thank our sponsors of the Booster Club. Make a lot of things possible for the team and the families. There's a punt. That's another good punt that's going to hit at the 38-yard line and roll backwards and then sideways, and it's going to roll dead at the 40. So that will be a 32-yard punt for the Bulldogs.
What's the line on that game, Bill? Do you know? The A&M Alabama game?
I think it was 13. I'd have to double check. It's not as high as you would think. Of course, I've seen A&M with different lines, and I've seen them covering them. I've seen them not cover them, and I don't even look at the lines that much.
Yeah, you can't really do that with the Aggies.
No. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And Kyle Field will be there with about 102,510 of our closest friends. Hoogerwerf back into quarterback for the Vikings. Here's a snap. He goes up the middle, straight up the middle to the 45. He'll make it to midfield. He'll get a first down, and he gets about a yard inside Bulldog territory. So that was a nice play. There was some good blocking by the line that time.
Right, there's absolutely no defense right up the gut.
48-yard line.
Yeah, Ryan Tellez and Preston Gomez in there offensively on the line for the Vikings, making that hole possible. Hoogerwerf straight up the middle. And they're having a lot more success when they go up the middle than they are going around the ends, it seems like. All right, twins right, single left. Hoogerwerf the quarterback. As a throw to the flat, Leandre Roberts, the intended receiver, just out of his reach.
Just when we said there wouldn't be any more passes, we get a pass.
Yeah. Now, granted, it wasn't downfield. It was a horizontal forward pass, but, and, hey, you know what? You're not trying to throw it deep on him. Let Hoogerwerf, test his arm a little bit and try some different things. Cameron Weil in the slot position on this side. Leandre Roberts, the wideout. Chandler Mrugalski, the wideout on the far side. Hoogerwerf, the quarterback. Crowder, the running back, now goes to his left side. They're showing blitz. He stopped. Now there's a handoff. Crowder across midfield, and he gets bulldog down by the bulldog number 52,
2 yards.
Isaiah Nava.
Nava on the
He'll get 2 yards.
Nava got a hold of him and was not going to let go.
He said,
Slowed
"Not
him
for
down.
you,
Third
Nava."
down and 8.
3rd down and 8 for the Vikings. 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the game. Play now is called in from the sideline. 10 seconds on the play clock. Single right, twins left again. Crowder in the backfield to the right of Hoogerwerf. Hoogerwerf throws to the flat. Roberts catches his 45. He's going to fight his way to the 40. He's pulling players. Flag on the play. He has first down yardage, but there's a penalty flag on the play. Some of the guys up front now. Taylor Haas in on the offensive line for the Vikings, along with number 78, Mikael Blaylock.
Flag on the play.
Ball is out at the 36-yard line in Bulldog territory. We're waiting to see what the flag is. I don't know if they'll get into the playoff because the officials with the running clock are down there debating where to mark it off from.
Did we
And-
just get transposed to a soccer game?
Yes. Yeah, Jay Ryan just asked if we got, except there won't be extra time as
Extra
they
time
call it.
added.
Yeah.
Time,
Oh, now he says to roll the clock, which he never stopped. The officials never told the guys up here to stop it. It is.
At the 49 or 51.
Twins right, single left. Crowder, oh, and he gets met at the
Yeah.
line of scrimmage. Maybe falls forward for one. He'll be at the Viking 50-yard line.
55. 55.
Nick Brisby
Number 55,
made that tackle.
Brisby making the stop.
Brisby. He was a stone wall on that one.
4th down and 12.
4th and 12 for the Vikings at their own 50-yard line. I say their own because the ball is just on this side of the 50. Twins left, single right. Hoogerwerf has Crowder in the backfield to his right. Here's the snap. Hoogerwerf steps back. He throws over here to Leandre Roberts out of his reach. Ball goes over on downs.
Roberts, the defender.
Defending is Tyler Roberts for the Bulldogs, but that pass just a little bit high out of reach.
Ball goes over on downs.
47 seconds to go, clock rolling here.
With 43 seconds and counting.
Will we get a playoff, Bill? I'm not sure.
We might make the playoffs, but in your situation, will there be a play that comes? Do you like that?
I did. But I also like burnt toast, Bill.
Do you like it burned on the front or the backside?
On the backside.
Well, and that looks, I think they're just going to let this run out. The Vikings are out there, the Bulldogs are out ready for a play. We'll see if they actually snap it once. If I was him, I'd snap it and throw deep, just see what happens. But it looks like the Vikings are going to successfully preserve the shutout with a 50-0 margin here over the
That's
Trimble
the
Tech
game.
Bulldogs.
Final score, ladies
On homecoming night, Joe.
50-0. That's an incredible victory. You know, nice for the homecoming. And
So glad you were back up here in the booth again.
yeah, it was great to
We're
be
back
back.
one more
You
time.
know, great to be there for a victory, and you know, not much of a game, but it still was obviously nice to take home a win.
The starters got some real good tune-up stuff in the first half. We brought in second and third string in the second half. They got some important playing time.
Absolutely.
Until next time, for Jay Ryan, our producer, and our spotters and statisticians, Tim Perry, Steve Langford, and Al Qualman. With me is Joe Toronto. I'm Bill Frawley saying VFND.